And here we go. So today is exciting. We've got our Facebook teachers' pets because they're in the classroom live. You can always join us at Lillian's Radio Show on facebook.com/Lillian's Radio Show and be a part of the class or the broadcast. We have our podcast, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, and all of it comes together from the magic of you. You make this whole happen. And you and I are the only people that can take responsibility for our health. So today we're going to be talking with Liberty HealthShare and how we can take our health back, and Dr. Joel Fuhrman and how we make that happen through our lifestyle changes. So put on your seatbelt because the doctor is in the house and so is Liberty HealthShare. Fasten your seatbelt. We're going to learn and grow together. Here we go.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and my viewing friends. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who've been tuning in to the classroom since 2011, or maybe tuned in yesterday for the first time, welcome back. But if this is the first time that you've joined us, someone's extended an invitation, or maybe you heard that Matt Bellis or Dr. Joel Fuhrman is in the classroom, and that's why you're tuning in, well, just know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth while living the life of your dreams. Now, today we have two wonderful gentlemen joining today to discuss the how-to and the why-to, and giving us a roadmap and how do we create that 100% responsibility. We have Matt Bellis. He's Communications Director for Liberty HealthShare, a sponsor of the Lillian McDermott Radio Show Classroom. And then we have Dr. Joel Fuhrman, world-renowned, super duper wonderful author, researcher, PBS best person out there, and we're going to talk about his new PBS show that he's going to be filming in November 4th. I'll be there, and we're going to also talk about the research he does with cancer and the new location. He's in California this morning, and I think it's 5 o'clock over there right now, right? Yes. He gets up early just for you. So today we're going to start with Matt Bellis because there's so much that we don't know. And Matt always has the pulse, his finger on the pulse when it comes to taking ownership of our life and not giving our health care away to a third party. So welcome. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on today. And of course, we'll be hearing from Dr. Fuhrman in a little bit. So thank you, Matt.
You can call me doctor anytime you want. I didn't do it. But
you are absolutely right. You're a doctor when it comes to giving us a prescription for taking our health back.
Oh, thank you. Good.
Yes. So go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and how Liberty HealthShare is taking back this waste in our government, waste in our healthcare at this point.
Well, it's amazing because you are right. I come across different bits of information, researches and studies and things that happen within the healthcare industry as a whole, because it's interesting to see that the system that we have set up for ourselves in this country is very much biased towards what we call a third-party payment system, where we're offloading our responsibility of paying for something to another third party. It's as if Dr. Fuhrman was taking care of all of our healthcare costs, not you and I, where we're just paying money into a system, and that system then helps pay for our healthcare bills. So that's what we mean by the third-party payment system. And because of that, and because of the regulation and the waste and the licensure and all the things that happen within the healthcare industry, there has developed an enormous bureaucratic administrative complexity that is almost like a millstone around the neck of healthcare in this country. There was a study just done by Humana just recently that was reported in the AMA that the healthcare industry as a whole weighs somewhere around $760 to $935 billion. Now, the largest contributing factor to that waste, because it's all chopped up into all different kinds of things that contribute to that waste, but the thing that they actually saw that was the biggest contributing factor to it was administrative complexity. Made over $265 billion worth of waste in this country just to have paper pushed around. And it's fascinating to see that on one hand, we want better cost, lower cost, better access healthcare. And on the other hand, we're willing to put up with a system that contributes to this administrative complexity and burden to where if we were to make it its own country, it might hit to the G20 because it is just a wasteful system. And so with Liberty HealthShare, what we have done within the healthcare industry and helping people get out of the healthcare industry the way that it's set up now is to set people free, is to give people a reason to control their own health care. It's only a control, it's only something that you can actually handle whenever you hold the power of the purse strings. We're all each individually responsible for our healthcare bills. We're what's called self-pay patients, where we are each individually responsible for the bills that we accrue within our healthcare system. That's how we start changing the whole context of healthcare. If you're in the driver's seat with your healthcare, you have a lot more freedom, a lot more choice. That also means you have a lot more responsibility, and you have a lot more care that needs to be taken with your healthcare. But frankly, we wouldn't have it any other way, because that provides us a level of freedom and ability to work within a community that you really don't get anywhere else. So a lot of people say, well, that sounds great, but what happens during those times that are unexpected and unaffordable? What happens whenever I have a medical bill that I just can't pay for? Well, that's when the community of Liberty HealthShare comes in and helps pay for those times that are unexpected and unaffordable. You fall, you slip, and you break an arm, you twist an ankle, you get sick, you come down with a virus. However you have a medical need, that's after whenever you as the member have the community of Liberty HealthShare coming together to help pay for your medical bills. So we do things very differently to try and remove administrative complexity and administrative burden by putting the individual in charge. And during those times that are unexpected and unaffordable, we have a community of people sharing in those medical expenses.
You know, and when you say a community of people, I want all my listening friends, my viewing friends to understand that we're talking $1 million per incident. We're not talking about you knocking on your door and begging for money and your neighbor just in case something happens to you. And we're discussing this with Liberty HealthShare. If you want to learn more, you can go to libertyhealthshare.org, or you can call 855-58-LIBERTY. That's 855-585-4237. So Matt, as you do this, you come together as a community, and I no longer am having you make decisions or a third party make decisions for me or where I go, what to choose, and I get to choose it myself. I would never go to shop for a car and say, you pick the car for me. I don't care how much it costs as long as I get a car. That's a different mentality as opposed to, I'm buying the car. I want the same car at a better price. Isn't
Right.
that how we take the money back for healthcare?
It really is. And actually, that's a very good analogy, because basically what you're doing within healthcare, you're giving your money to somebody else, where hopefully someday you'll be able to claim some money back on it to pay for something that you may have down in the future. All the while, that third party is controlling the decisions of your healthcare.
Yes.
And that's not the way that we have it set up at all, because we're all each individually responsible. We're able to make the decisions. We're able to go about the business of healthcare. We're able to interact with our doctors. And frankly, doctors and hospitals actually really enjoy being a part of healthcare sharing, because that allows them to practice medicine again. They're no longer de facto bureaucrats for the third-party payment system.
Sure.
You're dealing with the individual who's in charge of their healthcare.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my endocrinologist loves it. At first she didn't want to take Liberty HealthShare, and then when she got reimbursement, she went, "Oh, okay, you can come anytime." So they approved it
Yeah.
because doctors end up getting more money as well. So it's because it affects doctors too. I've
really
seen
does.
it. I've seen reimbursements go down for medical practices for the same. I'm being treated for the same thing, but now they're getting paid less, even though I'm the same individual. So let's talk about open enrollment. A lot of people are making decisions. And I know that open enrollment, there's an open door or open enrollment policy all year round, but this is the time that we're making decisions for ourselves. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is the time where people are getting back to work and really starting to hunker down and make the decisions that they need for their lives. And actually, I see this in quite a few industries. But especially with Liberty HealthShare and healthcare sharing and healthcare in general, people are taking this time to look at their healthcare. Now, November 1st begins the open enrollment date. November 1st to December 15th of 2019 is the open enrollment time period. It's where people are choosing their healthcare plans that they want to be a part of for 2020. Now, we're not a part of the open enrollment season, but it is a time for people to look at healthcare and people to make their own decisions about what they want for healthcare. And so really now's a good time to look at Liberty HealthShare to make sure it's a good fit for you, and join us if you think that it is, because that's a very big important part of this, making sure it's a good fit. Because I'm sure you can attest, Lillian, that this is a different way of thinking about healthcare, and you just can't treat it as a third-party payment system. This really does involve you. You need to take some responsibility for your health and your health care. And if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, then I just say, come join us. You can do it any time of the year, but now's a great time to do it.
It is. And I know that when I was going to be added to my husband's insurance, it was going to cost me $500 a month. But because I went with Liberty HealthShare as a single, it's like less than $300 a month. Can you give the cost for a single, a couple, and a family, please?
Sure. If you're to join Liberty HealthShare for our most comprehensive program, for a single, it's $299 per month. For a couple, it's $399 per month. And for a family of 3 or more, it would be $529 per month for your suggested monthly share amount. And whenever you have a medical bill, you have an actual need, that's when we have what we call our annual unshared amounts, the amount of money that you pay before sharing actually begins. And that's the money you pay to your doctor or hospital. That's $1,000 for an individual, $1,750 for a couple, and $2,250 for, again, that family of 3 or more.
Yeah. And who has ever, I mean, when I think about my deductible, a quote unquote unshared amount, my deductible was like $5,000. And with Liberty HealthShare, it's $1,000. After that, everybody shares in my costs as well. So it's a win-win. And I'm really excited that not only are you a sponsor, but I am a member of the Liberty HealthShare team. And I'm very proud to say that out loud. And I love the openness and your willingness to always work with me to learn, like all the things that are happening with me and the approvals that I've received and working together with Liberty HealthShare as a team. So thank you so much, Matt Billis. That's, Liberty HealthShare, you can find it yourself. You can go to whenyouneedafriend.com, click on it, and then they can send you information as well. But it's libertyhealthshare.org, or you can go to whenyouneedafriend.com, that sponsors button that I talked to you about. And it's 855-58-LIBERTY, 855-585 4237. Matt Bellis, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have the most wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Lillian.
The best day ever.
Best day ever.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so now we're going to switch gears. Now that we learned what we can do to take back our health care, but how do we do that? You know, the question I always ask you when Dr. Fuhrman's in the classroom is, have you had your G-bombs today? Have you considered that perhaps the way you eat can change your diagnosis? Those symptoms that we have in our body saying, hey, something is wrong. Well, Dr. Joel Fuhrman, he's the one that I've decided that I am going to follow when it comes to nutritional excellence. It's being a nutritarian. So today, not only are we going to talk about his upcoming PBS special that I will be at, I know I'm so excited I'll be at, I hope that you will join us as well, but also the work that he's doing with cancer and also the Eat to Live Retreat Center in the new one. You're in a new one already. So, and since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I'm so grateful that Dr. Joel Fuhrman is here to do just that. Welcome, Dr. Fuhrman, and thank you for waking up so early.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Yes. And you are in your new Eat to Live Retreat Center.
That's right. I'm here in San Diego at, you can see it's pretty empty here. We just had the extra refrigerators installed. So I have 2 of those big refrigerators now. You can see behind me. You see that?
Yes, beautiful.
But it's still dark here. It's still pretty, it's still in the, 5 or 5:30 in the morning. So it's pretty dark at 5:20.
Maybe you can give us a little tour once the sun is up.
When the sun comes up, you can see a little bit.
Yeah, all the teacher's pet who stick around long enough, they'll be able to take a look at your new location, your new retreat center. So today, Dr. Fuhrman, there are several things that are going on with you. You are in California. You're normally in New Jersey, but you're always making sure that you're taking care of the people who invest in their life. And so tell us why you're doing it. What are you doing in California today?
Oh, well, I come here like a third of the time, and then I'm moving out here. But I'm here a lot because I have guests that are staying here, and they most often have significant medical conditions that need my attention. So when they come and stay here, I become their medical doctor, and I monitor. I have a nurse on the premises and a psychologist, and 3 chefs, and so. But essentially, I'm here to lecture to them, but also to make sure I'm monitoring their medical conditions, because I'm usually weaning them off their medications gradually and getting them or nursing them back to great health again. So most of the people that come have some medical condition that need my care. Occasionally, a person that comes just wants to come for the great food and the great atmosphere and enjoying the pools and the sand volleyball court and the hiking in the woods and all that stuff. But mostly, it's people here who need my help, and so I come here. Right now, when my son is still in high school on the East Coast, I'm back and forth half the month. But once he finishes high school in June, then I'm going to move out here and be back in the East Coast maybe a week every 2 months and be mostly here. So right now I'm still going back and forth. But today I have a lecture. Oh no, today I don't have a lecture. Tomorrow I have a lecture in Dana Point, and then I'm flying to Austin for another lecture, another conference. So I have to be here, and I have to be here in the West to do a couple of lectures that are in my schedule as well.
Yeah, and you take really great care of the people. It used to be that you used to do this in your basement, and now you're doing it in a much greater fashion. It's so wonderful to see.
You're right. I mean, I can remember when my children were young, like when my daughters were little, 2 and 3 and 4 years old, I had a lot of people in my house who needed help. And I'd have people in the basement, and my kids would be like in bed with the patients. They'd be like playing cards and in their beds, and so it was kind of funny. So a lot of these people who saw me many years ago became very attached to my children, who were like 2 and 3 years old at the time. So that was 25 years ago I was doing.
Wow, amazing, amazing. So today you are doing this in a much larger scale. And last time you were on, we announced that you had this PBS special. And so tell us a little bit about the PBS special before we start getting your questions.
Well, the PBS special is being filmed on Saturday, November 2nd in New Jersey. And it's filmed in a big theater in Branchburg, in Raritan Community College, a very big theater that seats about 800 people. So I have, people can go to drfuhrman.com to the events tab, and if they want to join us, they can get a ticket for that. They can come to the filming of the PBS special starting at 3:30 on November 2nd. And I'm excited about this. because it's the first time PBS is not only allowing me, but encouraging me to bring live people on the stage. And I can show all these people who've lost 50 pounds, 100 pounds, and people have reversed their MS and reversed their psoriasis and got well from cancer and got well from, so like from multiple sclerosis. And it's like, wow, I can really, because in the past they had different management in PBS and they wouldn't let me do that. I couldn't even communicate with the audience. I couldn't interview a person who got well. I couldn't interact with, and actually, but in any case, now I've got, so I'm so excited about this potential for this show, to showing people what food as medicine can really do. And the title of my PBS show coming out, and it's not going to be aired on the PBS until February.
Yeah.
It's called Food as Medicine. And I have my new book coming out at the same time. And my new book is being called Food to Live. So I have the Food to Live book coming out at the same time as my television show called Food as Medicine, which is really exciting. And I'm going to be, because I can't believe people are going to watch this show and kind of not have tears come to their eyes when they're seeing all these hundreds of people that have like transformed their lives and saved their lives. It's just amazing. To me, I'm reading these stories and I'm putting together my script to get approved. I'm saying, wow, this is like, you want to cry when you hear about all these people.
Yeah, but I want to cry when I hear people with their limited belief that once you get a diagnosis that you have to take medication for the rest of your life, or, once you receive a diagnosis, that's it. I'm done. And what they don't understand, this is what makes me want to cry, is that they've given up their power to the pill. And that's why my registered service mark is, you can take a pill, you can take responsibility. We don't realize that we can take our health back by changing our lifestyles. Many, spirit, mind, and body, I talk about spirit, mind, and body transformations all the time. But when you're looking at someone that says, this isn't about Santa Claus, this is science. It's not about believing in Santa Claus. This is about understanding the science. How difficult is a nutritarian transformation for the people that think that you have to diet and you have to measure and you have to weigh and you have to, have portions? And what do you say to people like that think it's a lot more difficult than what it truly is?
Well, obviously I lecture about this all the time. I was just lecturing about that last night right here at the retreat, that food addicts look for rationalizations because the food, to the extent you're an addict, it takes over the primitive brain, not your cerebral brain, but it takes over, and you're in a conflict among yourself between your primitive brain wanting its wants. And the more you're an addict, and there's a big relationship here between sugar addiction and oil addiction and fried foods and heroin and opiates and because food addiction, number one, is the most deadly addiction.
Yes.
And food addiction takes over people's brains. They don't even know they're an addict. They just live, and they think they can't give up their addictions because their brain's in control, because their lower brain's in control. What I'm saying right now is that the more you're an addict, the less you're a human, because a drug addict will steal and lie and cheat, and the more you'll do anything to sustain your addiction. And when you get these food addictions making you dopamine insensitive, and food drives people into drug addiction, by the way. They start out with sugar and candy and fast foods and pizza and fried foods, and they go on, and then their brain becomes dopamine insensitive from all the dopamine stimulation, from all the rapidly absorbed calories and the high caloric concentrations. And they move to, and their brain needs more stimulation. It goes on to alcohol and drugs. And we have a population that lives for stimulation and uses food as a recreational drug. And then they're not in control of their life. And they can't be warm and giving and caring. And they no longer care about the world, care about the aesthetic structure of reality, the beauty around us. They no longer care about other people. It's all about living their life with a lower level of excitement and creativity, who've been driven to fuel their addictions, their recreational eating, and their addictive overeating, or they're using drugs or drinking or alcohol. So their life revolves around sustaining their addictions. And these people so I always say you lost the key to the bank. They're no longer in control of their life. When you get back, healthy food not only tastes good, it tastes better than that junk food. Once you've retrained your taste buds and you've developed the full vibrancy and strength of your taste to enjoy. I remember eating dinner last night with these people who were saying, wow, these vegetables are tasting sweet because we've taken the sweets away that deadened the taste, and now the vegetables actually tasted sweets.
Yeah.
But we make such incredibly delicious food, and that, that it's like we're laughing, that people think this isn't a great way to eat. But then you have gratitude for the food because you see that the food has life-giving properties, and in the mushrooms and the pomegranate and there's these nutrients in it that actually suppress genetic alterations, prevent damage, accelerate the activity of the ARE, the antioxidant response element in our cells that enables the cells to repair damage and fix broken DNA, cross-links, and remove and kill cancerous cells. That we're looking at food in a completely different way. The food is mystical and magical and wonderful. And we appreciate the food, and we appreciate the people that planted the food, that's harvested the seeds, that grew the food, that brought it to our doorstep, that the guy who brought in I have a guy who's a fireman who comes here every week and brings us microgreens that he grows in his house, these little baby greens we get the best food in the world. We're so appreciative of people that making the food, and we're more respectful to other people and caring and feeling, and your happiness is not based on how much you can feel better than other people, superior to them, outcompete them, make less of them, make more of yourself, feel you're important, feel you're special. It's not about complaining and whining and making and feeling that you're important or special. It's about how much you can care for other people, how much you can emote and care for the world, how much you really, your happiness is based on your feelings for things outside of you. And this all comes together. Your question about people saying, just if I had to eat that way, just shoot me right now. I'd rather be dead. Right? That's what they'll say. But it's all very complicated, but it mixes into their personalities. What I'm saying right now is the food addiction and the food environment in America changes people's personalities. It makes them dysthymic. It makes them angry. It makes them less appreciative. It makes them driven to live for eating and imbibing and stimulation. And they become less of a human, less intelligent, less caring, less creative, and less really in communication and relating to other people in a way that would give them more happiness. And they would taste the food better too. And they would appreciate the food that gives you good taste and great health. It's complicated, but that's what we do here. We change people's whole outlook on life and food and living and happiness. And they leave with the fog lifted off their head, and they get well. Their MS goes away, their psoriasis goes away, their diabetes goes away. But they leave with the skills to really be able to live this way, enjoy it, and not have food be an issue in their lives, where they feel they're in constant cognitive dissonance and in constant conflict with their own self of what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. They really just learn to love their life and love what they eat.
I agree, totally agree. And I want to just emphasize the food addiction. You had said that food addictions are the worst addictions, and because we do have to eat. We don't have to smoke, we don't have to drink alcohol, we don't have to do certain things that, but eating, we do have to eat. So how do you continue to eat in a way that doesn't go beyond that? But here's the thing, we also celebrate food addictions. We come together and we celebrate, and we minimize the consequences of obesity, and we minimize, the consequences of MS and diabetes. We minimize them because we've grown up in a society where overeating is acceptable. We celebrate it. And so I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're changing this mentality that dieting it doesn't have to be a diet. It can be a lifestyle change. And even people that have written to you last month, I had shared with you about this beautiful woman who has been a nutritarian, and she was pre-diabetic, and she weighed about 200 pounds. I'm trying to remember the question, but you had said that she's not living a nutritarian lifestyle, and that if she were to do this completely, that she would release the weight, reverse the diabetes, wouldn't have to worry about that, because she had asked the question, but you saw the question within the question that she did not ask. Well, anyway, she ended up writing to me thanking you for holding a mirror to her face, because many times we believe we're eating a certain way, but then the old habits creep back. So since that class, she has released a lot of weight, and I'm hoping that she'll go to your PBS special November 2nd. I apologize, I said November 4th, but it's November 2nd. And I am just excited that you're going to be able to bring real stories to an audience that might be convinced otherwise. We kind of tune out that emergency broadcast system, boo, woo, whenever you hear something like this, because in your mind, you think it's going to be difficult. But this is so inviting. Nutritarian lifestyle is so inviting. So let's talk real quick for people that are just tuning in for the first time and learning about you, Dr. Fuhrman. Let's talk about G-bombs. And because I had so many questions last month about what is this about? What are you talking about? So let's talk about G-bombs and the importance of G-bombs.
Right. Well, a nutritarian diet is based on, obviously, nutritional excellence and getting the full spectrum of phytochemicals and antioxidants the body needs to maximize its self-healing potential. And that's what's so exciting about the show I'm filming, because people go to their doctors with diseases and they don't understand. They're never told that they could get well from their lupus, their multiple sclerosis, their melanoma, their ulcerative colitis. They're just not, their fibromyalgia, their chronic headaches. They're just given drugs. And there are so I'm finally getting a bullhorn to go on television and demonstrate these thousands of people who have transformed their lives that food is more powerful than medicine. Mm-hmm. And when you achieve a high level of micronutrient excellence, then it suppresses your appetite and you're in control. You're no longer a calorie consuming monster, because you're eating the food the amount of food you desire and feel most comfortable eating is the right amount, because your instincts are correct. And your hunger becomes a precise computer directing you the right amount of calories to eat each day. You're not just, and you don't even feel like eating more, because your food tastes best when you're eating instinctually, and listening to your body's signals. And so the G-bombs identify, and of course G-bombs, G-B-O-M-B-S stands for greens and beans and mushrooms and onions and berries and seeds. Just identify for people the foods with the most scientific support that prevent cancer, and actually the same foods that prevent cancer extend lifespan and prevent recurrence in people who have cancer. In other words, it's not a different diet to prevent cancer and a different diet once you get cancer. The same diet style with the G-bombs in it that prevents cancer. When you feed people that diet style who have cancer, they can often have their cancers reverse.
Yes.
And there's studies that show that, obviously. It's not, and I'm very careful to say, I'm not claiming that all cancers or all advanced cancers can reverse themselves, but I'm saying, let's look at the data, let's look at the people, let's look at the studies, and I'll say nothing. Just let me show you what happened when people in a study did this, and let me show you what happened when people in life really do this. Look at the outcomes.
Correct.
So let's look at the outcomes, and the outcomes are just very, very.
Yes, and to learn more about G-bombs.
Respect the self-healing property of the body and the power of food to heal yourself, even from serious illnesses. And it gives people hope. It puts them back in control of their life, and it makes it so they can have a happier and life without fear and without having their life being intruded on by medical procedures, medical interventions, medical testing, putting their body cause.
Yes. And so with that in mind, I want all of you to know that Dr. Fuhrman has been a regular in the classroom. He's been a teacher in the classroom since 2015. I'm going to create in my YouTube channel just a section with just Dr. Fuhrman videos so that you can learn. We've had topics about how to become a nutritarian, how to transition, if you're diabetic, how to eat. So please feel free to go back there. Just real quick, Dr. Fuhrman, speaking of beans, Lois wants to know, can you eat too many beans? She says, I've been eating a lot of greens and beans on a daily with great results, but she's worried that would she have too much iron or protein? If it's too much iron or protein to eat too many beans, is there such a thing as too many beans?
Well, people can overeat healthy food. I mean, it's possible. People eat too much watermelon. They can eat too much of it. They shouldn't be eating till they're stuffed or they're full. I mean, I always say to people, how's your pancreas doing today? How about your liver? You don't feel your pancreas, your liver. You shouldn't even feel you have a stomach. You should get up from the table, not feeling stretched out and uncomfortable. So yeah, you can overeat anything. And so you can eat too much beans, but if you're eating the variety of foods I want you to eat in your diet, if you're eating at least three pieces of fresh fruit a day, if you're eating a big salad every day, if you're eating some mushrooms and onions and berries, and you're eating some, if your diet you're eating at least an ounce or two of nuts or seeds a day. If you're eating, we're eating a wide variety of fruits, maybe some intact grains, maybe some winter squash, maybe some, maybe we're eating some edamame, whatever it is. So then she's not eating too much beans unless she's eating so much that she's excluding the variety of other foods from her diet. And then she's eating so much beans that she's not having much nutritional variety by covering the other parts of the diet she should be eating. So that's because we've learned that almost any study on population groups that live a long life, when they exclude a certain natural plant, like they have no fruit in their diet, they don't have much protection against cancer. When they exclude the beans, they don't have as much protection against cancer. When they exclude the nuts and seeds, they don't have as much protection against cancer and heart disease. They die. When they exclude any major factor of these G-bombs, any one of the G-bombs are excluded, you don't do as well. So we want her to have enough dietary space on her plate to have all these foods on her diet, in her diet. And we want her, of course, not to overeat calories, so she's stuffed or overweight. When she's doing that, and if she's not overeating, maintaining an ideal weight, and getting a full variety of food in her diet, then she's not eating too much beans.
Very good. Okay, so then we have another question from Lavonda. She wants to know about iron levels of 7 or 8. Should she supplement, or which one is better? So she says, which one is better, a 7 or 8, or I guess, wait a second. So what she's saying, yeah. She was saying that she has iron at levels 7 or 8, and she was wondering if that's okay. Should she supplement? The next question is, which supplement is best for iron?
With regard to iron, people have a very wide range of needs. In other words, let's look at a pregnant woman and say that the conventional medical authorities recommend that the current prenatal vitamins that women take have iron in it, and everybody should be taking iron. That cookbook approach is not best for women. What's best is to ascertain which women need a supplement with iron, which women need more, which women need less, and which women need no iron. For a woman whose iron levels are high in her body, giving her more iron is not best for the baby. It was only best for the baby when we're giving iron to women whose iron levels are low. You follow what I'm saying right now? So it's better to measure to see if you need iron or not, and the test to ascertain whether you need iron or not is called a ferritin test, because that's the most accurate depiction of your iron stores, called ferritin. An iron level is not as accurate, or an iron saturation is not as accurate as a ferritin level. If the ferritin is below 50, you probably should supplement with iron. If it's 50 or above, you don't have to. And if it's 100 or above, you should be careful. You should not be taking it. You should, of course, be careful to stay away from iron. So this woman with an iron level, with a low iron level, might need a supplement. Now, some of the supplements contain a lot of iron, like some of the medical supplements contain 325 milligrams of iron, and the body only absorbs, you can only absorb a little bit of iron from each supplement because it only can absorb a little bit of iron at a time. And then you're taking such a high dose of iron, and you can get the side effects of constipation and indigestion from taking all that iron. So I do recommend people take a lower dose iron, something like, 20 to 50, not 300. And I'd rather, because they're only absorbing a little bit of a time, I'd rather them take, the small amount with each twice a day or 3 times a day until their ferritin level gets back up again. So this level, woman's iron is pretty low, and some women bleed a lot, and some women don't absorb iron well compared to other women. And you really can't, say, well, that's right, this diet is adequate in iron, and this diet is adequate in iron. We're not blaming the diet, because some people get iron deficient on a diet with with adequate iron exposure, and they just need some more iron. And other people can have a diet with less iron, and they don't need iron supplements. So it's really, we're using the blood test as a parameter to direct women to their needs here. I do have an iron supplement that we sell on drfuhrman.com, which is a relatively low dose, and less, it doesn't cause as much indigestion. But in generally speaking, any natural low dose iron supplement, and then she could monitor her blood tests every 8 weeks to see whether it's coming up or not with whatever she chooses to take.
Great. And so that's wonderful. So so at an iron level of 7 or 8, it's less than 50. So that's much No, that's okay. You're saying a ferritin test.
A ferritin test less
Got
than
it.
When your ferritin is 10, 11, 10 or 20 or 30, you should be taking extra iron. The iron level, I'm saying, is not an accurate test. However, since her iron level is so low at 7 or 8, even though it's not as accurate a test, I'm guessing her ferritin is also going to be low, and she should be supplementing with iron.
Okay. So the next question is coming from Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly, how are you? I'm so glad to see you on today in the classroom. Kimberly wants to know that are there any conditions that should avoid mushrooms?
Well, mushroom allergies are pretty rare, so no, there's no people that should avoid mushrooms unless they have to avoid mushrooms because they're allergic to it. But obviously, I can't even remember coming into contact with anybody mushroom allergic in the last 10 years. So I'm sure it exists, but it's got to be incredibly rare. So no, people should not be avoiding mushrooms. Mushrooms are powerfully protective against cancer. They lower your angiogenesis, which reduce the ability of cells to claim a blood supply who want to spread and replicate. And they lower your estrogen levels, estrogen stimulation of breast tissue, and estrogen stimulation of prostate tissue. They're just incredible superfoods. And there are thousands of varieties of mushrooms, and only 2% are poisonous. Out of those thousands of varieties of mushrooms, 98% are good food for humans. And poisonous mushrooms are relatively much rarer, but of course, people, now in modern society, we have the ability to recognize those strains of mushrooms that should not be eaten.
Yeah. So why don't you, if you can share cooked mushrooms versus raw mushrooms, if you can share that point as well.
Generally speaking, we want people to eat mushrooms cooked. The common mushroom varieties like portobello and cremini and white button, those type of mushrooms, have a mild carcinogen called agarotine that blows off with a little bit of cooking. And you don't lose the benefits of mushrooms with cooking compared to cooking other foods. So cooking them in a wok or in a vegetable dish or in a stew or a soup, they're ideal. And we should wash them, soak our mushrooms, wash them, and then obviously chop them up.
Okay. The next question comes from Patricia. She says, does the number of calories matter if for a whole day your diet consists of 1 pound of steamed vegetables, 1 large salad, and a half to 1 cup of beans, and 3 fruit consisting of either blueberries, melons, apples, oranges, cherries, green grapes? She says she's fully satisfied and for the whole day, but that's the thing that I feel with a nutritarian lifestyle. I just eat my G-bombs throughout the day. I don't really think about it, but she's got this prescription. Did she say she's eating nuts and seeds as well? She didn't say any nuts or seeds. So she's,
because nut and seed exclusion among vegans is risky. In other words, the Seventh-day Adventist Health Study 2 and identified even in the vegan and vegetarians that those people on low-fat vegan diets not eating nuts and seeds had a 39% increased cardiovascular death rate and a significant increase in premature mortality from not having fat in their diet. And the studies are starting to ascertain exactly what are the mechanisms via which lack of fat in the diet can hurt the heart cells, increase the risk of cardiac arrhythmia. We just wrote a study on this, it's being published soon. That's increased the risk of irregular heartbeat. And of course, you're not absorbing the beneficial phytochemicals from the foods as well when there's not some fat in the vegetable-based meals. So she didn't mention she's eating some nuts and seeds.
She did not.
We recommend at least a half an ounce of nuts and seeds with each vegetable-based meal to facilitate the absorption of the phytochemicals.
Very good, very good. So a little follow-up from Kimberly. She said that she agrees with what you were saying, but she says she likes to put raw mushrooms in the sun before cooking it to increase vitamin D. Do you know anything about that? I'd never heard of that, putting mushrooms in the sun.
Are they wearing a bathing suit?
You see, this is Kimberly. This is his humor. This is his wonderful sense of humor. So I don't know. I think they're going commando.
Are they female mushrooms?
No, but I would say that that's a form of cooking if you put it in the sun.
I don't know. Well, first of all, I mean, you can't guarantee a person is going to do that and get enough vitamin D unless they're monitoring blood work for vitamin D.
Okay.
So I recommend people take some vitamin D supplements so they're avoiding getting over sunning themselves to damage their skin. However, a lot of people who are exposed to sun in the ideal amounts, not in too much in their day, they could have enough vitamin D. So we want to strive for that vitamin D, the 25 hydroxy vitamin D blood level between, let's say, 30 and 50, not higher than 50, not below 25. 30 to 50 or 30 to 45 might be ideal. Too little and too much are both hurtful. We don't want to take too much or too little vitamin D. Again, we talked about iron, and we're talking about how we can show studies taking too much of any nutrient is bad. And we can show studies having too little of any nutrient is bad. We want to be in that sweet spot, the center spot of ideal health. So if she's achieving that center spot by sunning her mushrooms, I don't really think that the mushrooms are going to get, you'd have to eat an awful lot of mushrooms to be able to get sufficient vitamin D for some people, but other people getting that type of sun who absorb vitamin D easier than other people, maybe that's enough for them. So I'm not an expert on sunning mushrooms for vitamin D, so I don't know, but I know whatever you do, monitor it, make sure you're not taking too much or too little. I know there was a study on Caucasian surfers who were out there surfing for an hour a day in the sun, and they'd come in and they'd check their vitamin D levels. And they found that about 50% of these surfers were vitamin D deficient, even though they had light skin and were out in the sun.
Wow.
And they discovered it was because when they came in from surfing, they went into the shower with soap and they washed their skin with soap. And when you take the oils off your skin, it takes a few hours for the vitamin D to be absorbed into the circulation after you're sun exposed. The bottom line here is not to shower and not to wash. And that's why I only shower once a month, whether I need it.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. That's pretty cool. You know, you're talking about the sweet spot, and I want to shift gears here because I do want to acknowledge my sweet sponsors, the sweet spot here, and acknowledging that, you know, Liberty HealthShare, you know, whenyouneedafriend.com is where we take 100% ownership. As you know, my registered service mark is you can take a pill, you can take responsibility, and it is it's our life. And so I want to encourage all of you to figure out different ways. There's so many different topics. If you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, all the shows that we've ever recorded are in there, whether it's good, bad, ugly, from the beginning, 2011. And so there might be a topic in there that will help you take your health back. And so I want to encourage you to become a subscriber. Every week you have connection to whoever we are going to be having in the class, their link, their information, their books, whatever it is. So I want to encourage you to become a subscriber. While you're there, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook at Lillian's Radio Show, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Subscribe there as well. And when you subscribe, those shows will be sent, the broadcasts are sent to you to the privacy of your own email so that you can watch at any time. You also get free gifts. And because of being a member, we have lots of gifts from our sponsors. Like, for example, Keep Me Safe Organics. You know, yes, we are to eat well, but the toxic chemicals that we put on our bodies can cause us to get sick as well. So Keep Me Safe Organics is synthetic, it is all organic, and it is the only skin products that I use, makeup and skincare line. And you get a 10% off when you enter Lily 10. First alternative care for people who can't afford insurance or don't have the time to go to the doctor. This is assurance that you will have 24/7 urgent care, non-urgent care, dermatology, 3 hours a year behavioral health counseling for your entire household. So check them out. Dr. Stephen Grable, Complementary Care Center in Jacksonville, and he is integrative, complementary, and someone that's there waiting for you. There's also the pharmacy in Merritt Island. You can get topicals for not only yourself, but for your four-legged furry friends. And Live Longer Medical, creating the inside as beautiful as the outside. And lastly, you can become an enrolled student. We need all the help, your time, your talent, your treasure. Help us grow the classroom so that this information can be out there beyond what you get, here in the classroom, beyond what you get on television, which you hardly get any of this information on television because of the sponsors. These sponsors are not the kind of sponsors that you would see in a huge broadcast, because we're really talking about taking our health back and taking steps. And once again, I am grateful to Dr. Fuhrman since 2015 coming on and sharing his wisdom, his love and knowledge for all of us. So make sure you support our sponsors the way that they are supporting the classroom. Dr. Fuhrman, for you to get up so early in San Diego to share the good news that health doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. And you provide a wonderful formula that's easy. It really is easy to live by because the food is delicious. I can attest to that. And everybody has their own style, and you can modify these foods within your taste buds, you know, within the parameters, but within, if you like it hot and spicy, or if you like it garlicky, or if you like it bland, or whatever it is, you can adjust this, because you'll find that taste has nothing to do with, you know, processed and junk and frying. It really has to do with the beauty of whatever it is that you're eating, the natural component of it. And so with that in mind, Dr. Fuhrman, Siobhan wants to know that if you wanted to just jumpstart and you wanted to help with weight loss as well, she wanted your insight on water fasting and intermittent fasting and how to begin this journey.
Well, by the way, early in November, I have a group detox coming up, and people can go to drfuhrman.com and read more about it and be interested in signing up as one of our upcoming events. It's a group detox we're doing over the internet, and I'm doing Zoom conferences in people's homes and motivating them to join us with this process.
And when is that? And is there a cost to joining the Zoom, the group detox?
There is a cost, and I don't have the date right. I think it's about $300.
Okay.
And I don't, let me just quickly see looking at my calendar right now, when the detox starts, I think it starts on November, it starts, I think, it starts on November 4th. I think it starts.
So that's right after the PBS special.
4th or 5th, right after my PBS show, that's correct. Yeah. So that's excited about that. So the question, to answer her question a little more directly, is that do not recommend people water fast when they're overweight. Water fasting would slow down your metabolic rate too slow, yo-yo your weight, and when you have so much toxins coming out of your fat supply, it's too stressful on the body.
Yes.
They should learn how to eat properly. They want to sustain long-term changes. They want to keep losing 2 pounds a week and keep it going for the whole year. So they drop 100 pounds over that year, no less than 100 pounds. And if they water fast, they might drop 20 pounds immediately on a 6 to 10 day fast, and they're not losing weight for the next 2 months. And any rapid weight loss they got at the beginning is lost and plus it's not even good for a person who's that malnourished and sickly to be put on a water fast. It's too stressful for the body. Mm-hmm. So do not recommend water fasting for that purpose. Water fasters is mostly the people who do not have a weight problem. And it's more, how should I say, conservative and better long-term to repeat the intervention and to do intermittent fasting episodically and periodically and occasionally skip dinners and learn how to control your appetite and learn how to eat the right food so you're losing a good amount of weight all the time. Mm-hmm. So the answer is no, don't water fast, learn how to eat right, and slow and steady wins the race and achieve your healthy weight for the rest of your life.
You know, I love your 10 and 20 transformations. That is a wonderful, it's a quick, I have it in PDF form, but I know that you can get it in a book as well, right, Dr. Fuhrman?
Yes, I have the 10 and 20 where people, it's of course, it's 10 and 20 means lose 10 pounds in 20 days. It gets people all the recipes, but not just the recipes, the shopping list, what to buy, how to make them eat. And we feed people into this program so they learn how to eat properly and they get accustomed to what to eat for breakfast, what to eat for lunch, how to shop, and then they can continue it on their own. They can continue on their own after that and just with the same process so they keep losing at least 2 pounds a week.
I love it. And I rely on that. I flip to it because the recipes are delicious. And so that's what I want people to understand. Dieting should not be a part of our vocabulary. A lifestyle change is an absolute necessity for us to live the life of our dreams. And diet no more. And it shouldn't be complicated. And that's what I love about the Nutritarian lifestyle, Dr. Fuhrman. As you know, I was raw vegan for 3 years before I met you, and it stopped supporting me. It stopped supporting me, and being able to prepare my foods and low oil, no oil, no salts, and all the different ways that as a Nutritarian you can embrace. You're not missing out on anything. The taste, the flavor, it's all there. And so I know that we're getting to the end of the broadcast, Dr. Fuhrman, the podcast, not anything else. But I do want to talk about, if you have some time, because I want to be able to see the new place. Also, the Nutritarian Breast Cancer Study that you're doing. So after we're done for the people that are continued watch to learn a little bit more on how they can become part of this Nutritarian Breast Cancer Study. But for you, would you like to say one more thing before we end the podcast and go just on YouTube and Facebook Live?
I just would have to say that unless you thoroughly understand the Nutritarian program, and you're not properly informed, not properly educated, and you can't make decisions about what to eat, because then you haven't gotten the full picture or the correct picture of what nutrition can do for you and what proper nutrition is.
Absolutely.
You have to study this to have to be well informed to make decisions.
Absolutely. And we're going to continue our conversation once we leave. Please make sure you like us and you follow us and you share this information. Life-saving. Please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott and Dr. Joel Fuhrman wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. And we'll be right back. Here we go.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Thank you guys for watching today. We have a special treat because Dr. Fuhrman is in his new house, the new Eat to Live Retreat Center. So maybe later on we'll get a sneak peek of the new location. But before we do that, Dr. Fuhrman, would you like to invite women to the Nutritarian Breast Cancer Study?
Yes, it's called the Nutritarian Women's Health Study, and it's run out of Northern Arizona University. And people can go to nutritionalresearch.org, and they can look at and read more about the study and choose to join and be a participant in that. We are having a little trouble with funding. We would like to do much more with that study. If anybody knows anybody, so we are a little handicapped right now, in the sense that we were expecting some significant donations that did not come through that were helping continue the pace for some, things we wanted to do with that study. So we are a little handicapped, but we still have thousands of women enrolled in that and tracking their life on the Nutritarian program. And we're not just tracking their weight loss, we want to track how they do in their future and see that they don't get dementia and don't get cancer, and they actually do live to be what we're saying, to have a long life, pushing the envelope of human longevity. And it's not just about eating the right food, it's also about having the right attitude, of course, exercising, having a normal body weight, and and preventing exposure to noxious or toxic chemicals as well. So all those things play a role.
Yeah.
We have, I always say we've landed the man on the moon already. And by that I mean, we already know how to prevent breast cancer. We've got the information in the bag. The main answer to that question is vegetables. People don't like that answer. They want a different answer. They want to take a pill that they can have and still smoke 3 packs a day and not get lung cancer, still eat pizza and hot dogs and donuts and French fries and not get breast cancer. But life is not a fairy tale. And that's just phony thinking. And you're not going to ever find the magic pill that's going to save you if you eat the foods that cause cancer, or you smoke cigarettes, or you drink alcohol, you do things that cause cancer. You're most likely, if you live long enough, going to get cancer.
Yes.
Unless you're dead of something else first. So, but the point is that we can have, and what the point you were making earlier, is we can have the most pleasurable life and enjoy our food and enjoy eating and still not get cancer and not have to fear cancer. We have the power in our hands to control our health destiny because modern nutritional science has made the advances to delineate the causes of cancer and to also give us the information to show how we have to prepare a dietary portfolio that'll protect us against cancer. We do that, we make it taste great, and we have no more fears, and we can go on living our life, and cancer then would be a very, very extremely rare occurrence in a person or a population who ate so with such an excellent style.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you guys are interested in this research, you can go to nutritionalresearch.org, nutritionalresearch.org.
That's right.
Yes. And you can be a part of the study. And it's so important that we be, we don't mind being, responding to some quick little, silly little, oh gosh, what are they called? Questionnaires. And,
Right.
But so many times the things that really matter, we just dismiss as, it takes so much time, or it's not something that I want to do, or whatever. But how much is our health worth? And we have got to understand that we've been lied to when it comes to nutrition. from the beginning. You know, we thought a square meal consisted of X amount of ingredients, and our taste buds have been hijacked through trying to be quick and disposable and all these things. I stopped using aluminum when it comes to cooking. I stopped doing, there's certain things we have to stop. So if you were to say, Dr. Fuhrman, these are some of the things that we keep doing, even as we try to help our health. What are some of the things that are reoccurring, or maybe a theme with men and women as you're trying to help them? They're trying to eat right, but things just like get snuck in there, that if they just make that one little change, or if they make just that one little shift in their mentality, it allows them to see beyond what their current situation is.
Well, the biggest nutritional changes for people is getting the oil out of their diet, because the oil, when you eat concentrated sugars and oil, it's absorbed so rapidly that it promotes fat storage immediately and urgently. And when the body is in the fat storage hormonal state, it stops lipolysis, the breakdown of fat. Mm-hmm. So just having a little honey in your tea, or just having a little oil on your vegetables, means you stop fat loss, and you cannot lose weight the whole week because you put some oil in your vegetables, because it stops fat loss. So the fact is that those little bit of mistakes, by taking in the honey and taking in the oil, people then wonder why they're not losing weight, because oil is fat promoting, and even olive oil. What I'm saying right now is olive oil promotes breast cancer. And people say, what? Olive oil promotes breast cancer? Yes, because fat on the body promotes cancer, and the oil you're eating is keeping you fat. And so the fat cells secrete lipokines, cytokines, which activate aromatase production, which produce more estrogen, which all the free radicals spewed out of the fat supply make you produce more excitatory and angiogenesis promoting hormones that promote cellular replication. What I'm saying right now is fat is pathological tissue. Fat on the body is dangerous over a certain amount. And that when you're eating a diet that keeps you overweight, then no matter, even if you're eating what you consider healthy, it's not the right thing. So oil sabotages people's weight loss, and the extra weight is much unhealthier than people think. And there's no such thing as an overweight healthy person. Every person that's overweight is unhealthy, because fat on the body increases risk of cancer, dramatically so.
Amazing. Something as simple as that. And for those of you who are just joining us right now, if you have any questions for Dr. Fuhrman, we're going to get a sneak peek of his new location. Is the sun rising there yet?
No, it's still only 6 o'clock here, and it's not going to be light till 6:30. So it's not going to start. The sun's not going to come up for a while. So it's still.
Well, you can give us a little peek around the kitchen. This is your new kitchen. How many compared to your last location? So how many people could you house in their last?
Well, the last location is right across the street, right? So
yes.
We built this bigger, nicer facility with bigger, and then obviously moving people over here. So yeah, this new location has 12 bedrooms, and then have a guest house with 3 bedrooms. So it'll have 15. They accommodate 15 bedrooms. The first location only has 7 bedrooms. We've learned our lessons in doing some, like we have this, just so you can see, like not only we have more refrigerator space, but these big giant windows open out to the disappearing windows open out to the outside.
Wow, disappearing windows.
I got to show you the disappearing windows. Yeah, but here I'm going to take you back into the back prep room. Here's a room we built right behind the kitchen. We're finishing this, where you can actually have commercial sinks, a commercial dishwasher, which washes dishware, and a vegetable wash area, which washes dishware in 90 seconds.
Wow.
So we have the big commercial refrigerators and food storage sites. We have a sprouting room and microgreen growing room. And I'll go out the back here.
So nobody else is getting the sneak peek but us. Look at this.
Now here's in the kitchen.
Is that opening by itself?
And the doors are opening. You can see the doors are disappearing.
Oh my!
Beautiful views.
Keep moving the camera. Keep moving the
camera back.
No, where the opening windows.
To the opening windows, yeah.
Yeah, to the opening window. There you go. I thought, okay, so that's a sliding door. It looked like a window. Okay.
Now the big giant glass doors disappeared, And you're looking out to the Lasardi Park Preserve, which we can walk outside now.
Oh, and
but-
Petey's not with you?
No, Petey's in New Jersey with Lisa.
Oh, okay.
But you can see him in the backyard now, but it's
Oh,
too
I can
dark.
see the silhouette of the, oh, that's beautiful. I know it.
You got beautiful views, and over the mountains, you can see the ocean in the distance. I have you can see the big saltwater pool, infinity pool over there. But anyway.
Yeah, I see
Maybe
some
fun.
chairs. Right now I'm seeing chairs.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, Dr. Fuhrman. Wow, that's a large, look at that. It opens up and it's like an open air.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
a real big open area here, and it's because it's so nice weather and there's no mosquitoes.
Yes.
You really have this nice area. So, but it's still only 6 a.m. here. So
Yeah. And so the other location, your first Eat to Live retreat center, that is half the size of this one?
yes, it's half the size of this.
And what is the square footage of your new place?
Oh, I don't know. We have, because it gave us a chance to build this right. We have a medical office and a really big gym and a giant laundry room with with 5 washers in it. So we made it so that even the floor here, you can't even see the floor, but the flooring, I coated it with this very thin rollout plastic, because the other floor in the other house was with all the cooking and all the chefs cooking. It was like wearing down the floor in the kitchen. So we even put staining it with food dropping on the floor. So just learn from the first place to see what we should do here in the new place to make it all work better. You know what I mean?
Wow, wonderful. And how do people get in touch with you? They go to drfuhrman.com, or they can make sure you tell them Lily sent you. Okay, so they go to drfuhrman.com and they go to your retreat center?
Yes, there's a tab that says retreat right on the top of drfuhrman.com.
Yeah.
You just click the tab. And there's some videos there about the retreat and some information, and you have a phone number to call if you want even more information.
And people can go there if they want to eat a meal, or if they want to stay there for a month, 3 months.
That's correct. Most people come for 30 to 90 days. It's like renting a room here for a long time, because people, when you go to a drug rehab center, you're not there for a week, because when people go to these health retreats for a week, they couldn't afford to stay there for a month. So we keep the price more favorable so people can stay longer. But also you're not going to go home and retain those benefits if you stay a couple of weeks. You need to stay longer to really learn all the things we're going to teach you, to get rid of your addiction, to learn to prefer this way of eating. So I really designed this place for a longer term stay, encouraging a 30 to 90 day stay. Occasionally we have people come for a couple of weeks, but hopefully we're not going to have rooms available for those people. I wanted to gear this and make it for people who need to be here longer. And generally speaking, 30 days should be the minimum stay.
Wow, you've come a long way from the garage, your basement, and having your people who needed to heal. So now we're talking about the Eat to Live Retreat Center in San Diego, California, and all are welcome to join. You can call to see what you need to do to qualify to get in there, or do you just say you want to go?
Well, they should learn more about it first. Obviously, unless people can somewhat care for themselves. I don't want to take nursing home patients that need that type of care, where they need that type of 24-hour nursing care to even walk to the bathroom or not. They have to be enough ability to be care for themselves and not be that ill. You know what I mean? But we do have handicapped rooms where people can have a handicapped access to their shower and things. So we do take people who are in a wheelchair, but they still have to be relatively, or they can travel or if they're in a wheelchair, they can have a companion that comes with them to help them. But we don't have, we have nurses here, but not 24-hour nursing care. So it's really a facility for well people who are overweight, who have some medical problems, and we have people come who are not overweight with conditions like asthma, fibromyalgia, Sjogren's syndromes, psoriasis, and arthritis who come in just to get better. And we do have some people come here who are just in good health, who just want to eat the incredible food that we grow in our garden and pick off our trees and have the fantastic chefs. It's the food. It was funny because we were saying that last night, the people who were sitting with me eating dinner here were saying, this is so incredibly delicious that people should come here just to eat the food. You can't get food like this anywhere else. You know what I mean? That's how good it tastes.
It is. It really is. And I think that the mentality needs to shift. And when we talk about a nutritarian lifestyle or healthy living or whatever it is, people immediately shift to, can you lose weight? Well, I believe that if you eat this way, you don't have to worry about weight loss because your body returns to its natural state, to its natural healthy body weight or whatever it is. So I think the shift of weight loss is a side effect of healthy living. That's what I've learned from you, Dr. Fuhrman.
Right. So it gives you one example, like a woman, Nicole, came here for 6 weeks, lost 50 pounds, and then she went home and lost 150 pounds the rest of the year she went home after not. So it's that she got the skills here she needed so she continued the weight loss. I have a guy here right now who's been here, I think he lost 30 pounds in 30 days, and now he's been here like 40 days. Like his last looks like 38, 37 pounds in 40 days, because he was over 300 pounds when he came in, and he's going to leave here. And he's already feeling a lot better. He's got new clothing on already. He's only been here like 4 or 5 weeks. He's already bought new clothing and stuff to fit, that's somebody. But he's going to leave here and he's still going to be overweight when he leaves. He's staying 3 months. He'll probably lose, let's say he loses about, 60 pounds when he leaves. He's still going to be another maybe 60 pounds overweight, but now he's learned so much when he's here. He he's going to go home and do it. When I run some of my 1 week events, people learn, they change, but they get a lot of recidivism because people go home to their, negative social environments. Yeah. They didn't really retrain their taste buds left. They don't have so the education like sinks in them, but living it sinks into you and it rechanges and you lose that kind of detox and you get rid of the attraction for the foods that were hurting you. And really, people can really go home with the skills to learn how to do this and to learn how to love it. So that's why I do this, because my frustration, you can imagine, from people who I've been teaching nutrition to, who don't do it and then get in some serious conditions, who gain the weight back again if they lost that's the frustration. That's why I said, I got to keep people a long term, and make it feasible for them to do this, because we want to make sure that people do this for the rest of their life, and people come here to learn the skills so they can do it and love it for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. And I love that. And I love the fact that you also have counseling, because there is a reason why we are stuffing ourselves. There's a reason why. I mean, other than the ignorance, because we've learned that, you can eat this. I mean, so many people will say, oh, the Mediterranean diet, it has oil. But even in the Mediterranean, what I understand is they don't need as much oil as we do here in the United States. And so there's a lot of people that say, oh, oil is good for you. It's medicinal. It has this and it has that. But the reality is you have to look at our body and see, and the symptoms that our bodies are screaming to hone it in and say, okay, that may not work for me.
Well, this is a much more radical approach, but it's a much more, and I'm using the word radical a little bit irregular usage here. What I'm saying is that because the Mediterranean diet countries may have a small lower risk of heart attack, like 5 to 8% lower risk of heart attack, we're not striving for that. We want to wipe out heart disease, and we have that ability to do so. And we could reduce heart disease by 99.9%, not by 3 to 5% lower risk of heart attacks. Mm-hmm. So people are jumping up and down that heart attack rates went down 5%, and we can wipe it out by at 99.9%. It's just
correct.
So most people on the Mediterranean diet eating all the oil and cheese and pasta and white flour aren't living that much longer than Americans. They may be living a half a year longer. That's what you want. Go ahead. But we're talking here about living 20 years longer. Don't compare this to, I'm saying that there's no comparison between a Nutritarian diet and a Mediterranean diet.
Yeah,
it's just
I hear you.
Better than what Americans are doing.
Well, those are our limiting beliefs, Dr. Fuhrman. We believe that this is a certain way. And it's like, we've been taught, from childhood, this is the pyramid, this is this is that, and this is what we believe, and this is what we don't believe. And so these limiting beliefs, and that's why counseling is very important at your center. And Tricia was asking what's the cost of your location?
It's about $15,000 for 1 month, $28,000 for 28,000 for 2 months, and $36,000 for 3 months. So it comes out to be, for people who stay for 3 months, it comes out to be about $12,000 a month when they're staying here for 3 months.
And some insurances pay for a portion of that.
It's covered by insurance because the medical care and nursing care and counseling services could be billed to the insurance company. That's right. So out of that, that's a total inclusive fee that includes all the medical care and counseling and things. But part of that fee can be broken out and submitted for insurance reimbursement. That's correct.
And it also has when you're talking about it's like going to Club Med, where you have, it's all inclusive. Your testing, is that included into that cost? All the tests that you need to know, because every person that comes to you is an individual. Not one size does not fit all. So you need to know what the deficiencies are in that individual so that you can build a roadmap back to health. So with that, the cost, do they include the testing?
We monitor people's, with certain testing we do here, like an in-body body fat, and that cost does not include blood testing. Most of people rarely need blood testing because we have blood tests from their history, they come in with their blood work. There's no point in repeating those blood tests that they have in their medical chart. So we don't just do needless testing on people. We sometimes do, and then if we want to test that they've gotten better, we want to wait later till it's, so we're really not doing needless medical care like a lot of alternative practices do. But we will do people what they need to have done if it means something to better their care, of course.
Yeah, well, we heard at the beginning of the class here with Liberty HealthShare of the waste and billions of dollars of waste when it comes to our healthcare. So it's nice to know that you're doing your part to make
people go to doctors, and they don't understand that doctors used to make money on tests and make money on procedures and make money on screening tests and make money on this, and they overuse medical care. They do things needlessly, and they think more testing and more doctors and more is better, and it's not. We want to get out of that mindset. You don't need, we want to get people so they're away from doctors and away from needing medical care and away from needing medical testing and they can just take, because they really want to be in control of their health.
Okay, so one last question. We're going to take a question from Leah. Leah wants to know, is it okay to drink a glass of wine on occasion on the Eat to Live plan?
Let me ask, is it okay to smoke a cigarette once in a while on an Eat to Live plan? The answer to the question would be, if you smoked one cigarette every few months and it didn't make you want to smoke more, then maybe it's not so bad. But if it makes you want to smoke more cigarettes, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. If the drinking wine leads to more drinking of the wine, then alcohol is a carcinogen. So the occasional use of a carcinogen isn't going to likely be a cause of cancer, the occasional use. But if it leads to, when people say to me, what about if I don't want to follow the diet as strictly as you make it? Well, but some people who are food addicts, they have a little bit of alcohol or a little bit of sugar or a little bit of this, and they're a little bit of, it drives them to want more, and it keeps them in that world of always being pressured and always having to make stressful decisions of how much they should imbibe in harmful substances. For most of us, we didn't develop a taste for that, and we don't need those things. We have things that can make it that we appreciate more. So the answer to the question is, if occasionally having a glass of wine, is probably okay, but not for people who are driven to consume more than a glass or who want it more regularly. Those people should not be having wine occasionally.
That's very fair. And what comes to mind, Dr. Fuhrman, is that when we are drinking or when we are smoking or when we are eating foods that we know that are not part of the plan, we're surrounded by people who are doing that as well, encouraging us. So once those go into our mouth, whatever that taste is, whatever that food is, goes into our mouth, it hijacks our brain. And then we start making decisions that are not for our body, but that is dictated by the bacteria that it's producing when we're eating the food. So we get hijacked, and we don't understand that we're not, at this point, it's not about willpower, right?
Right. So that's right. So that's the problem with some of these frankenfoods, we call them.
Yes.
That are designed to hijack your taste and so people say they only want to eat unhealthy foods. And for those people who became a food addict in their past, it takes them a long time to really be free of those addictions to the degree where eating those foods won't entice them to go back again. And we don't want them to fall into that trap. So It's better to have clear margins or clear boundaries of what's best for your life, and don't make your life more difficult than it needs to be.
Yes,
you can make healthy foods taste great without having to use substances that are intentionally addictive.
Yes. Oh, Dr. Fuhrman, I lied. I just realized I missed a question from Victoria. She says, would you consider opening a retreat center in the Midwest? Good one, Victoria. Here we go.
No, because it's better that I'm here, and we have Because it's a what's a $300 plane flight to being in an area all year where you have beautiful weather and no mosquitoes, and you have the open window and you can go outside and walk and hike in the woods. Why can't people just go on a flight and stay here? And then you're in an area where you don't have a McDonald's across the street and you don't have a convenience store people can walk. So we're in a very deserted area where people can walk around and hike in the woods and be in the nature preserve and not be and growing their own food and having the land with the beautiful dirt. I really would think that this is I'm in the United States. We could have done this in Costa Rica or another country, that where people really had to change and get a passport and travel and be far away. Here we're right in the States. You can get here from anywhere.
Yeah.
Half an hour from the airport.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dr. Fuhrman, it's always wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing you in November. I'll be there and I'll be cheering you on as always. So proud of you that you're able to go beyond the limitations of what PBS was doing before, and you've stuck with it long enough that now you get to experience it with an audience, because I'll be a part of the audience, and you'll have people that from all over the world that have experienced weight loss of is it 100 pounds or more, or what is your criteria for someone who's going to be interviewed and share their story?
Well, I've already picked out the people who I'm going to share the story on the stage. But I'm going to have a lot of people who've lost weight in the audience, and I'll be able to say to the audience, stand up if you lost 20 pounds and kept it off, or stand up if you lost 50 pounds. And then people will be be interacting, and there'll be a participation in the audience. But the people who I'm going to actually interview on the stage, it's only 2 weeks away. I had to get those people and line them up already.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I hope that you yell out, stand up if you've interviewed Dr. Joel Fuhrman. Well, I am very excited. Before we go, Dr. Fuhrman, I want to let you know that today's my husband's birthday, and I just want to wish him lots of health and love and a happy birthday, and may this be the best year ever. So I want to thank you, Dr. Fuhrman, for everything.
A lot of happiness.
Yes, thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. And for those of you who want to learn more about Dr. Fuhrman, you can go to drfuhrman.com. And you can also go onto my YouTube channel, where we're now developing all the classes that Dr. Fuhrman has been in. We're going to create a playlist just with Dr. Fuhrman so people can get their fill and learn that it's not about dieting. It's about achieving health excellence or nutritional excellence, as Dr. Joel Fuhrman says. And so I'm grateful to you, Dr. Fuhrman, for everything that you've done for me and my family, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Take care. Thank you.
Okay. So let me say goodbye to everybody, and we'll say goodbye to YouTube and Facebook Live. Bye.